The newly released Epstein files from the Department of Justice are full of connections between the disgraced financier and a long list of powerful, famous figures. And yes, Melania Trump's name shows up. Surprising? Maybe not. But of course, the internet immediately went into full detective mode, digging even deeper.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
So let's follow the threads and see how Melania is connected to the Epstein web. Allegedly, of course. According to the released materials, investigators found an email from 2002 sent to Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate, who is now serving a 20-year prison sentence for her role in his trafficking operation. The message is signed Love Melania, but here's where it gets important. The sender's email address was redacted, and officials have not confirmed whether the sender was in fact Melania Knaus, who would later become Melania Trump. So this point is still uncertain. But let's just say everyone's reading between the lines.
Only I have my story. I know the truth.
The email itself references a New York Magazine profile about Jeffrey Epstein that had just come out. In that same piece, Donald Trump called Epstein a terrific guy and added that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
The October 2002 message reads, "Dear G, nice story about JE and NY Mag. You look great on the picture. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania." Maxwell didn't respond right away. A few months later, in January 2003, she wrote back, "Sweet Pea, thanks for your message. Actually, plans changed again, and I am now on my way back to New York. I leave again on Friday, so I still do not think I have time to see you, sadly. I will try and call, though." Now here's where internet sleuths started connecting dots, and you've probably seen some of those threads yourself. One version of Epstein's so-called Little Black Book, which surfaced in court records years ago, reportedly contained multiple contact numbers linked to Donald Trump, Melania, and people within their broader social circle. There are also documented instances where these worlds overlapped socially. For example, in 2000, Epstein and Maxwell attended an event at Mar-a-Lago, where they were photographed with Trump and Melania, who was then his girlfriend. Prince Andrew also appears in several photos from that party. Of course, none of this proves any wrongdoing, but it adds to the picture of the circles the Trumps moved in, and that proximity naturally raises some questions.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
The newer document releases also pulled on another thread connecting Jeffrey Epstein to Melania Trump. Photos featuring Brett Ratner, who directed and produced Melania's new documentary. Several photos feature Ratner with Jean-Luc Brunel, a modeling agent who was later charged in France in connection with abuse allegations and took his own life in prison in 2022 while awaiting trial. In one of the photographs, Brunel appears shirtless and is being closely embraced by Ratner in a dimly lit room. The documents provide no details about when or where the photo was taken. Multiple women have accused Ratner of misconduct over the years, including Olivia Munn and Natasha Henstridge. Ratner has denied it all through his attorney, Martin Singer, and he was never criminally charged. But the backlash still got big enough that Warner Brothers cut ties with him. And Melania's connections to Epstein don't stop here. Let's rewind a bit. Melania Knaus, yes, before she was a Trump, started modeling at just 16. Born in what was then Yugoslavia, she worked in Paris and Milan before landing in the US in 1996, thanks to a man named Paolo Zampoli. He sponsored her immigration, gave her modeling gigs, and even arranged for her to share an apartment with photographer Matthew Atanian. Now here's where it gets a little murky. Melania was on a travel visa that didn't actually allow her to work. Yet, she reportedly did around 10 modeling jobs during that time. And at 26, she was older than most models just getting started in the business.
I had successful modeling career. I came to New York 1996.
Zampoli eventually helped her get a proper work visa, and one of her first big gigs was a Camel cigarette ad shot by Ellen von Unwerth. It landed on a Times Square billboard and in Rolling Stone.
I'm proud of it. Yes, I am.
But here's where the Epstein connection starts getting interesting. Zampoli, who was shifting from fashion into real estate, still owned ID Models, an agency he later used in his partnership with the Trump Organization. And ID Models wasn't just about fashion. Models were reportedly used to help sell luxury real estate. Melania never had a real estate license, but she was part of this world. Now, depending on who you ask, the story of how Melania met Donald Trump changes. Zampoli claims he introduced them at a party during New York Fashion Week in 1998.
We met in New York. It was a fashion week and it was a party, big party, so we met there.
But Epstein also once claimed he introduced her to Trump, suggesting he knew Melania first. For the record, Zampoli denied that in 2019. And Melania? She tells a version that doesn't involve either of them. At that now infamous party, Trump was still married to Marla Maples and showed up with another woman, Norwegian heiress Selena Middelfart. But that didn't stop him from asking Melania for her number.
So he asked me for the number, and I said, I will not give you my number. So if you give me your numbers, I will call you.
So what does Epstein have to do with all this? According to Michael Wolff, the journalist behind Fire and Fury, quite a bit. In a podcast interview, he claimed Melania was very involved in Epstein's social circle. Wolff even says Melania was introduced to Trump through mutual ties to a modeling agency that both Trump and Epstein were connected with. Epstein knew her well, Wolff stated. Politico has also pointed out that Zampoli, the same man who brought Melania to the US, had ties to both Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And here's a detail that raises eyebrows. There's barely any information about Melania's personal life before Trump, as if someone hit the reset button. Coincidence? In audio recordings Michael Wolff made before Epstein's death, Epstein allegedly hinted that things between Trump and Melania may have first turned intimate on his infamous private jet, the Lolita Express. Now, that's a deeply unsettling claim, and it's one that needs to be taken with serious caution. Wolff didn't hold back. He openly questioned Melania's role in all this. Where does she fit into Epstein's world? The whole culture of models of indeterminate age. It's a question that, frankly, many are now asking. Now, do we know what's really true here? Number. But the mix of conflicting stories, missing details, and unusual connections definitely raises eyebrows. Whether it's all just coincidence or something deeper, it's no surprise people are taking a closer look.